Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Ken, and Dave is coming to you also from White Mountain Approved. And this is the site that deals with everything dealing with the White Mountains. And we do gear reviews, and we do have some novelty items to sell as well. But we're glad that you're tuning in, and we would encourage you to invite some other friends and tell some people about it. Anybody that's in the hiking community, that's our target goal. And we're just having a lot of fun with the stuff that we're doing, talking about a lot of different hikes and gear and stuff like that. So, Dave, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, same. If you're looking for any information about hiking and specifically gear reviews, you've come to the right place. Definitely.
Yeah, yeah. So we had a group hike the day of Christmas Eve, and Keith and Ian and Dave and I, we did the Belknap Range. We did Gunstock, Belknap over to Piper, and then back down again. And it's about a 5.5 mile loop, and it was a great hike. What are your thoughts on that hike, Dave?
Yeah, it was great. It worked out very well. We get up there in the morning. First thing, there was only one other car in the little trailhead parking lot. We managed to get up to Gunstock and then across over to Belknap and Piper. The conditions were great. There was plenty of snow on the trail. That's a really steep section going up Gunstock. And once we got past that, it was smooth sailing. But it was a good morning.
I'll tell you, it seems like no matter how much I condition, Gunstock always kicks my butt.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know why. I think it's because you really don't get a warm up. Like
No.
you get out of the parking lot and you go up.
Yeah.
So any of you in central New Hampshire or traveling from the south and you want a good day's hike, but you don't want to go all the way up north, hey, hit Gunstock, do that loop. It's a lot of fun. It's a great hike. 3 peaks. And while we were doing that hike, we stopped and we filmed a gear review. I did a gear review on a new backpack that I just picked up. It's a Granite Gear Crown 2 backpack. And you'll see the gear review, but I'm falling in love with it. I hiked with it that day, and now I've done 2 other hikes. I hiked Cannon with that backpack and Liberty with that backpack, and I'm really loving it. It's an ultralight, and it's basically like a 45 liter, but then it'll bust open to 65 liters. And so, I'm really loving that. So make sure Dave's going to post the video with this. And so you'll be able to check out that video.
So hey everybody, it's Ken from White Mountain Approved. We're on the top of Belknap Mountain, and Dave's filming. Ian's here off to the side. Keith's over there adjusting his pack. And I'm just going to do a gear review on a new Granite Gear Crown 2 pack that I bought. It's an ultralight. And again, I get my stuff on Steep and Cheap, and so I look for sales. This is like about a $200 pack regularly, and I think I got it for like around 140. One of the things about it is it's got an adjustable waistband here that you can unvelcro and make it as adjusted to your waist as you want, and then velcro it again and slide it in this pouch. I do like the fact that it has a couple of side pouches on either side. You can have your warmers in there or a snack in there or whatever. Adjustable straps that are very comfortable. It's got 2 pockets on the side that you can use as stuff sacks or hydration packs. It has one in the back. It's not a super huge one, but for sticking a jacket when you're delayering, you can put that right in there. It's got the top pouch, which has a zippered pocket on the top of it for whatever, your snacks or whatever you need to get. The cool thing about this pack is there's 4 release straps that have long adjustables to them. And there's 4 corners that have these long straps. And the purpose for these straps is this pack right now, though I have it set up, is about a 40-liter pack. But when you disconnect this stuff, you can open this right up and it'll come out to about a 60-liter pack. And then these things that are adjustable still come right up over the top of it. I have them adjusted for a downsize, but you can see when this pack is stuffed and it's this high, that's why they have the long straps on all 4 corners. This top piece will still go right over the top, hold everything down snug, and then you can disconnect the whole top component and leave it aside if you don't want to use it. But it's got the watertight folding top on the neck. Disconnect that and unfold it a couple times, and you can just see that that's a huge pack. I mean, I probably only have a third of the gear that I could stuff in this thing. You can see how big it is. So I like that. I like the fact that I can use it as a winter pack and only store about 35-40 liters worth of gear in there. Or when I'm doing an overnighter, I can jam this thing up with my tent, with my sleeping bag, with my cook stove and food, extra clothing.
PK, two questions.
Yeah.
First being, what do you think it weighs empty?
Empty, I'm saying it's about 1.5 pounds. It is an ultralight, so it's a very light pack. The only thing, I don't believe it has a rain fly. So, but you can pick up an extra rain fly like I did for my Osprey pack. You can pick up one of those on Amazon for like about 15 bucks. So it's not a big deal. It does have strap. One of the things I like about it, it's got a lot of straps. It's got 2 straps going across the stuff pocket, and then it's got straps on the side. If you wanted to put snowshoes in there, they buckle and then they also cinch right down. And so it does have a lot of components like that. It has a couple of loops right here on the back. If you want to, you can strap your tent or your sleeping pad or whatever you might on the back. So I like it. It's just got a lot of functions, a lot of features. Again, it's the Granite Gear Crown 2. You can get it on Amazon. I think I got this off of Steep and Cheap.
Oh, one last question, PK. Does it have a hydration hole for the summer months?
Yeah, good call on that. It most certainly does have a hydration. Where's it coming out? Somewhere. It does have a hydration packet on it. I'll pop it open again. It's cold out here, so my fingers are freezing up a little bit. Right here, you can see the
Oh yeah.
there's a hydration thing, and it comes inside. You can come out either side with it. So if you want on the left or on the right, you can adjust it either way. And then it goes down into a separate pocket in the interior of the pack that you can slide your bladder inside there. Yep.
Thank you.
So yeah, I recommend it. It's a great pack.
So one more question. The shell itself is not waterproof?
The shell is waterproof, but you know how that works. I mean, it's waterproof probably for a certain period of time. But if I was going to go on a overnighter with this, I'd definitely probably get a fly for it and put a fly on it if it was going to get drizzly or wet or something like that. Yeah. Granite Gear, good pack.
All right. Great.
And Dave, I guess you hiked Tecumseh. What was the deal with that?
Yeah, actually, last Thursday, Ian, Carolyn, Keith, and I hiked Tecumseh, and it was one of those mornings. It was very cold. We got out on the trailhead first thing in the morning. We parked at the ski parking lot and went up. I'm not sure the name of the trail. It was really gradual at the beginning, and then it's a very steady pull all the way to the summit. As we got closer to the summit, the wind definitely was picking up, and it was really cold. And then once we summited, Ian pulled out his, I believe it's an anemometer, and he had through the trees 11 miles per hour wind, which doesn't sound like much, but out in the open, when you crested that little spot where you could peek out and see views over to Osceola, easterly, and then a little bit southerly, you got exposed to more of the wind, and it was really cold, and that wind was cranking. We only stayed about 10 minutes at the summit, and then we came back down. But yeah, it was a great hike, super clear, and you'll see in the pictures, it was one of those blue sky days. And I think that's partly because of such cold weather. But yeah, turned out to be an excellent hike. And Tecumseh is a quick one. From that side, I believe it's 2.5 miles up to the summit and then 2.5 miles back. It's certainly steep, but definitely a good peak.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been having some really good bluebird days. I mean, there's probably 12 inches of snow on the ground. The trails are getting packed, but the weather, it's hit or miss. But the days that are hits, they're really good hits.
Yeah.
So how cold would you guesstimate it?
Oh boy, PK, I would say that we were maybe in the low teens, high single digits when we started out, and it might have gotten a little bit colder up towards the summit. But yeah, it was definitely cold. It's
with the wind and all, how cold?
Yeah. Boy, I would say we're probably below zero. Wind chill factor was definitely below zero. Yeah, especially at the summit. Definitely had to layer up and get all of the good gear on. And interestingly enough, we were on our way down, and we always talk about other hikers seeing them on the trail. But there was 3 folks heading up that, they seemed to be dressed appropriately. They had their winter gear, but no packs. So I don't know if they planned on summiting or if they were just going for a short hike, but they didn't have any extra gear with them, that's for sure.
Oh, that's scary. That's scary to do that kind of stuff.
Speaking of hikes today, I understand today you were solo up at Liberty. How was that, PK?
Yeah, I just decided to jump on it last minute because I was really looking at a lot of weather reports. So I looked at about 5 or 6 different reports, and I'll tell you what, man, you can get a real difference in weather reports.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they said it was going to be a nice day. And the last time we hiked it, actually, I hiked it with you and a couple other guys, Dave. I'm thinking like 4 or 5 years ago. And it was a winter hike, and we got up there and it was socked in. So it was always on my bucket list to do when I knew I was going to get views. And the forecast was promising good views. So I left real early. I did the first mile and a half with my headlight on. And then it got light enough and summited. And when I summited and turned around, I just couldn't believe the views. I never imagined that they were like that up there. It was just, the sun was pinging off Cannon, and I mean, you could see Moose Lock, you could see the Kinsmans, you could see everything, Cannon, Garfield, the Presidentials, everything in the Pemmy, Owl's Head, and the Bonds off in the distance. It was just phenomenal.
That's awesome.
And then some clouds started rolling in. You'll probably see a picture of some of the clouds coming in. And it was a lot of fun. I'd say it was probably about 14, 15 degrees at the summit.
Wow.
Only maybe a 3-mile-an-hour wind. It wasn't windy at all. I had the summit to myself. There was 3 other people at the top when I got there. They took off for Flume. I stayed there for about 30 to 40 minutes. Cup of coffee, I had thermos. I had some coffee and a snack, and I was filming tons and tons of stuff. But really rewarding day. That is a brutal hike, I tell you. My legs were tired when I got back, but no, it was a good hike.
Yeah, that's definitely a steep and consistent trail all the way up from that area by the, I think it's the bike path. Once you cross the bridge and start heading up the trail, it's definitely consistent and steep.
Yeah. And I really got encouraged because I saw this little sign that said, Liberty Spring tent sites, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of close to the summit. But that little sign's going to be at least a quarter of a mile before the tent sites.
Yeah,
so
it's a little deceiving. And speaking of steep, PK, you mentioned earlier that you hiked Cannon the other day. How was that hike?
Yeah, so today's Wednesday. On Monday, Ian and Caroline and I did Cannon, and we went up the I think it's the Kinsman Ridge Trail.
Yep.
And I think I did that when I was like 30, so that'd be like 33 years ago. And I only came down it. I didn't go up it. And again, there's just no easy way to go Cannon. It's just, but we took our time. We paced ourselves. We had a great hike up. And again, when you get to the top, the views. And again, another beautiful day. It was probably 20 degrees at the top. Maybe a little bit more wind, 5-6 miles an hour. Just gorgeous views, and took a bunch of pictures. And again, off to the north, there were some clouds rolling in and crashing in the bottom of Lafayette. And when you get up there, I think it's a cannonball that you go over first, one of the cannonballs. And so you can see the summit, and you can see the top of the tower. And I thought it was just going to make like a straight shot over the hump, but it doesn't. It winds all the way around the cliffs where you're kind of like looking straight down, and across the road is Lafayette and Liberty and Lincoln and Flume and all that good stuff. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a great hike.
That's great.
So a couple of good ones. A couple of really good ones.
Looks like this coming weekend the weather might be slipping a little bit, and we're due for some slush and rain. So maybe next week we'll be able to get out and hit a couple more.
Yeah, I know it's rain down here. Is it supposed to be rain up north too?
Yeah, I'll have to keep my eye on the higher summits forecast.
Yeah, it would be great if they had a little bit more snow, because I know I ran into a couple of snowshoers on Cannon and one snowshoer on Liberty, and they were saying it was really bony, and it's rough on the snowshoes, especially when you really don't need them. The trails were hard packed. I just put my spikes on, and it was good traction.
That's great.
Yeah, it was a really good day.
Sounds like a couple of great hikes.
Yeah, not too bad at all. So what's your next hike? What do you got going?
So the plan is we might tag Liberty in the morning, hopefully, if the weather holds. As of right now, it looks like it's going to be cloudy, but earlier in the week they were actually forecasting a little bit of rain. So, and then we'll see what the weekend brings. Maybe hit something a little bit more south if we can clear up a little bit of time in between the rain.
Yeah.
Sort of play it by ear.
I actually started looking at, I'm sure we get some viewers out there that have done this, but the 100 highest in New Hampshire. And I started looking at them, and I was amazed at how many of them, like I wasn't even familiar with. I think they're bushwhacks.
Really?
I don't even think they have trails going though.
Wow.
But they're all like in the 3,000, mid 3,000. They're high peaks. So I was thinking, boy, do I want to do that? I don't know, probably not.
It's another list to add.
Another list, and I don't even think there's a patch for that one.
Yeah.
Because I'm all about the patches. Hey, if we've got a minute, I do want to do a little mini gear review.
Sure, absolutely.
You remember for Christmas, Ian got us these Marleno wool hats.
Yeah. Yep.
So I've worn mine a couple of times, and I guess what he was saying is that the Marleno wool really retains warmth even if it gets wet. If you soak it with sweat or whatever. So I was like, all right. So I bought a new pair of snowshoes at EMS, and when I did, they had a thing going on where I got like a $20 coupon.
Yeah.
And then in the mail, I got another coupon for $10. And so when Ian and Caroline and I did Cannon, we met at EMS. And so all day long, I was just talking about, what am I going to spend my money on? What am I going to spend my money on? So I got to EMS, and sure enough, I could use all the coupons together. And I'm walking around the whole store. I'm looking at everything, and I'm like, just nothing I need. After a while, you just nothing else, And so I'm just walking around and looking around. I go in the foot area, and my feet tend to get cold real easy. And so I see Marleno wool socks, and I'm like, bam, right there. So I bought a 2-pack of Marleno wool hiking socks. I think it was $25.
Yep.
And I wore them. I wore one pair today for doing Liberty. Put a couple of toe warmers in there because, again, I don't care what it is. My feet get cold. But with the toe warmers and that Marleno wool, not a problem at all.
Really?
Oh, it was nice and warm. And like I told you on the way out, I post-holed in a river crossing through a snow bridge. And so my right foot got soaking wet. I didn't care because I was probably like a mile and a half away from the parking lot. But in that mile and a half, it's like my foot didn't even get cold. It was wet, but it never got cold.
So, PK, are these the really thick, puffy ones, or are these the thinner, more snug socks?
I'm going to say they're probably like between.
Okay.
They're not super, super thick, but they're not thin either. So
nice.
Kind of like a Darn Tough, like a lot of people buy the Darn Tough socks. They're probably like that. So they're not super thin, but they had some oomph to them and great, So that was $25. I had $30 worth of coupons, $30. So, I just had to go out and get a couple more Mountain House meals.
Oh, did you really? Which flavors did you get?
Oh man, I think I got the spaghetti and meat sauce and the chicken. What was it? It was like a chicken noodle casserole soup.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, hey, that might be a hit right there.
You'll have to do a review on those coming up. You've convinced me to try a bite or two here and there on some of the overnighters we've done, and boy, that egg one, I couldn't do it.
You didn't like the eggs at all?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, that was eggs, sausage, and potatoes, and it was pretty darn good. But you didn't like the consistency. I don't think it wasn't the taste. You didn't like the consistency.
Yeah, it's just it was a little different.
Yeah,
definitely wasn't. Nor was it what I was expecting.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's good. So I'll see how these meals do. Probably if we do an overnighter this coming summer or something. And we're actually talking about doing the Greenway Trail, so that's a 50-miler.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'll hang those. I'll save those for that and enjoy some good fun.
Stock up. Definitely.
So so that's about it. We had a couple of good hikes there between the two of us. And are you going to do something this week?
Planning on tomorrow. We'll see how the weather holds. As it stands right now, it looks like we may do Liberty. Beyond that, I'm not 100% sure yet.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, the trail, like when I hiked it, it was loose snow but packed.
Nice.
But for you guys, it'll probably be solid ice because I sweat so much going up that stinking thing that I'm sure I drenched it, and now it's going to be good solid ice for your spikes. Hey, I did something kind of hilarious on that. There was a guy that I met I was just coming off the summit, and he was coming up, and So I don't know how long he stayed up there, but I was going down quite a ways in the steeps, and he comes running past me. He's sort of like running, and yet he's got full crampons on.
Wow.
I mean, he's got like 2 inches worth of spikes coming off the bottom of his boots, and he's running. And he went by me, and he says, "Yeah," he goes, "I'm just hoping I don't catch like a root and do a face plant." And I'm like, "You're brave, man. You're braver than me."
You know, I oftentimes will snag my pants just with my hill sound spikes. I can only imagine snagging my leg or my pant with one of those big spikes. You tear it right open.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep. As well as doing a cartwheel and yeah.
You know, speaking of spikes, I wonder what the normal snowpack is at the beginning of January. I wonder how many feet it normally is in the mountains. I wonder how low we are compared to that.
Yeah, I would say we're a little bit light right now because we've been getting so much rain. It's not that we haven't been getting the precipitation; it just hasn't been snow.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you, my son out in Tahoe, they have there's a ski resort out there called Boreal, and they've reported they're getting clobbered.
Really?
They've got 200 inches of snow, and they expect snow straight for the next 2 days.
That's a lot of snow.
200 inches. That's probably like around 18 feet, right? 19 feet?
Yeah. It's close, yeah. If not, yeah.
Yeah, and they're getting more. So he's probably sweating it out because he's part of the search and rescue up there, down there, and I bet you he's not wanting to go out in that at all.
No. And you know, they'll definitely be out in it.
Oh yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. All the skiers are going to be loving that powder and everything.
Yep.
So, but yeah.
Great. All right, PK. Looks like we are wrapping up our second episode.
Sounds good, man.
Definitely.
Look forward to the third one. I guess on the third one, we're going to do a gear review for anyone who's interested on sleeping pads. And all 4 of us, hopefully, are going to be there. We're going to be talking about our sleeping pads of choice, except maybe Keith.
Yeah. Although he's got some experience with some luxurious sleeping pads that I'm sure he'll talk about.
Oh, yeah. We're not going to want to miss that story next time we pull in an episode.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Great. Have safe hiking out there. Talk to you later.
Okay. Safe hikes, folks. See ya.